Welcome to another episode of Faith Among Wolves. We are finally back with another episode after a very long time. And I am also finally back. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to Faith Among Wolves. This episode will be a little bit different, but with me we have Jacob Moore.
Hello.
He really wants to do this part, but I'm stealing it from him. And we have our special guest, brother of Jake and Moore, Treydon Moore.
Hello. What?
Nothing. I just wanted it to be awkward. All right, so
You looked at me.
So yeah,
you looked
welcome.
at me like I was supposed to say something.
I know. All right, take it from here, Jacob.
All right. No, it's been quite a while, over a month, and school's been crazy, so we haven't been able to record an episode. But here we are, finally releasing, as we do not plan to quit this podcast any soon. But we have Nathan back up here, so it is great.
The next ones I won't be on it though, cause I'm gonna leave again.
He's leaving us again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be back for real maybe February, but yeah.
But today we are just going to do a short episode answering popular teen questions off the internet.
Through the AI part of the internet.
AI overview.
AI overview.
I mean, they're pretty good questions. I believe you guys have some.
Alright, today we are going to be talking about popular teen questions who are just beginning their faith. So the first question is,
Or want to begin their faith, but they have these questions.
Yeah. So the first question is, how can we believe the Bible is true?
All right, so I don't know. You guys heard this too. I don't know if it was somewhere else, but like factually, the Bible is literally the most accurate, not the most accurate, the most backed up historical pieces of documents. Like the most backed up. Like there's hundreds of them.
Yeah, I'm going to give an example real quick. So I'm currently going through Bible history class this year, and one of the cool things he mentioned was that while Joseph and his family from the Old Testament got into Egypt, and him and his 12 brothers, they all eventually died, well, they uncovered a Syrian house. I think it was Syrian. Some might have to fact check me on that. But in the middle of Egypt, it was kind of like the upper right part of the Nile River, if I remember this correctly. And in the middle of Egypt, there was no other house like it. And guess where Jacob and his family came from? That area where the Syrian houses are. And it's an exact identical match to those houses over there. Plus, around them are 12 graves, 12 brothers, and in one of them, there is a pyramid grave, which pyramids are reserved for pharaohs only. So it had to be someone that would have been so high up that he would have been practically a pharaoh, but not a pharaoh. Also, there is a statue within this grave, and how big the statue is how big the importance the person was to Egypt. And most pharaohs don't even make it to human height. This person was twice the height of a human. Plus, even more so, the statue looked nothing like a normal Egyptian. Plus, he had a colorful coat around him. And he was holding a Syrian weapon. And it kind of looks like a boomerang.
You could have just said it was a statue of Joseph.
Yeah, that's what I'm going around. Like, it is literally a statue of Joseph on what the Bible describes. And how he helped Egypt throughout all this time, making his statue be twice the human size, super important. And he even was able to be buried in a pyramid grave. And you guys can look this up all online.
Also, the coat that is carved around the statue is... historians say that there's essentially nothing like that within the Egyptian culture at that time, that it was like the most out-of-place design and color spectrum for that time period of history.
Yeah. So like with all this is just one story out of the. I bet if you like searched up evidences of any story, like there would be proof of it. Like the Bible. That's not really the problem people have in going into Christianity, because the Bible is real. If you like, the Old Testament is like all of those things that says on the Bible happened, and also the New Testament it is known that Jesus was a real man and he walked on this earth. It was just like the stuff we believe about him that people are like, but there's a lot of pieces of literature that lead to the 12, like any like stories of the 12 disciples and stuff, like they lived. So like factually, the Bible, like you could search it up and it's real. That isn't really a big issue.
And there's actually more evidence in Egypt about the Exodus. There is evidence for the plagues. There is even evidence for the crossing of the Red Sea, where it was found the people were going down in a submarine, I believe, and they found chariots, horse skeletons, and human Egyptian skeletons. And the thing is, in the Red Sea, the sand kind of made like a giant bump, where like it went from like it probably isn't like this, but I'm just using this example. It was like 5,000 deep, then at the bump it would be like 500 deep, and then on the other side it'd be back to 5,000 deep. So it was like a giant raise.
Like a sandbar.
Yeah, like a sandbar. And that's where the chariots and human skeletons and horse skeletons were found. Plus, it was found that during this time, the Egyptians are pretty much robbed. Like, the wealth went, like, way down. And we find this in Exodus, that the Egyptians gave all their wealth to the Hebrews. So, just in those couple stories alone, on just Egypt, there is tons of evidence that the Bible is indeed true. And there is also evidence that Jesus did indeed walk the earth.
Another example would be, obviously, probably the biggest thing would be the Ark of the not the Ark of the Covenant. I was about to say that. Noah's Ark. Found in Turkey. There's been, like, I don't know, half a dozen researchers gone up there trying to prove or disprove that formation is not the Ark. But there was this one guy, I can't remember his name, that went up and he actually found wood within the formation. When more archaeologists and stuff went up there, and people went up there, it was found further through I think it was like seismic. It's the machines that send seismic pulses through the ground in order to find like cavities and stuff. They found like multiple layers, like floors within a house of wood, and the wood that it was made out of was like not native to that area at all.
So what we're trying to get to is that, yes, there's plenty of proof that the Bible's real. If you don't believe the Bible's real, it's either because someone told you it's not real, or you just haven't read enough. Like, there's plenty, like, there's even the story about God stopping the sun, and there's research about how we are a couple hours under the rotation around the sun that we should be. Like, I don't know, like, you could search that up. Like, it's crazy because, like, they say we should be this much more ahead in the rotation of the sun if we did calculate this correctly, but we're behind, and that backs up the story of God keeping it midday for like hours so a war could happen that I believe Joshua prayed. But we should get on the second question. Yeah. But yeah, it is, how can I believe the Bible is true? It's just fact.
Yeah.
Also, I highly recommend that you do your own research as well. Do not take everything we say as fact.
Yeah, we forgot to say that we are teenagers, and as teenagers, we do not know everything.
As big as our God complexes might be, we do not know everything.
Yeah, so I would love for you to check what we say. Like, tell us, what about this? I thought you said this, and it doesn't match up. Just tell us. I would love it if you did that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
All right, so the second question is, hasn't science disproved Christianity? And I would like to start off on this question on saying most scientists, though, would love to tell you that. Just the fact remains, no, it hasn't. In fact, in more cases than one, it has actually proved the Bible and that God exists. Now, for the fact that Jesus rose from the dead, that can also be proved. Okay, so...
If you couldn't tell, this is one of Jacob's strongest subjects. He's very passionate about this.
All right, before he starts to rant, I just want to say two things. All right, one thing, science will never tell you Christianity is right or wrong in Christianity to a certain point, because Christianity is a faith-based religion. If you don't have faith, about Christianity, you're never gonna. You can search up as many things about fact. It cannot prove or disprove Christianity to a certain point because it is a faith-based religion. That's got to be from the bottom of your heart, you believing it.
Yeah, that's completely fair. But also, if you're looking from this as a fact stance, you'll find that more evidence points towards that a God exists and that it is a loving God who has carefully created every single one of us. That just more evidence points to that.
We could say the same thing we say about look outside. How is that not proving God, there's a God and that He created and that there's patterns in this world that wouldn't happen if we were just appeared from a random Big Bang? Like we can say that and you guys be like, I need you to fact that, and we're like, okay, fine, whatever. You cannot tell me that is a fact that evolution is true. You cannot prove with science evolution. You just can't. You can search up as much as you want. If you have wise people answering you, you can know that you just can't, okay? You just cannot prove evolution.
Okay. I'm gonna say one of the things that happens. Okay, sorry, Trade. But
I'm sitting here waiting for a chance to speak, and you guys are just going back and forth.
Right,
but
he's trying to talk.
No, dude, I was already.
Talk. No, I just.
I had my hand raised.
Hurry up, just say what you want.
Okay, I want to say, kind of going off of the random chance how the world is.
You have to scrub that.
So, going off of what Nathan was saying about how the world was created by random chance, how evolutionists believe that. One of my biggest contradictions to that is, if the world was created by random chance, how come we still don't see so much random chance within the world today?
For real.
Because if the world was built on random chance, then why do we have so much logistics within the world? Math, chemistry, the laws of nature. If the world was built upon randomness, why is it not still random?
And main thing that I like to bring up is, first of all, evolution, which is the main competitor for Christianity, and what most scientists accept.
Give us a worthy opponent at least.
Okay, so they believe that it all caused by a Big Bang. Okay, that everything kind of just boomed out.
Everything had to be perfect.
Yeah, so, and this is actually one of the first things. If you can disprove the beginning of something, then you can almost definitely disprove everything else. That can be said for both the Bible, evolution, and almost everything else. Except usually that's the strongest point. Except for evolution, because they love to say, oh, well, all these atoms that didn't exist came together and exploded out, and there is something. So, practically you're saying something came of nothing. Now, sure, you can say that, but have we actually ever observed that? Can an animal form out of air? And that's actually something. What if there was no air? No atoms, okay?
Well, air is a thing.
Yeah,
You're talking about the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
And another thing, kind of going off of what I said earlier as well as what Jacob just said, one of the laws of nature is literally that you cannot create nor destroy matter, as in something. If there was nothing, you can't create something out of nothing. That is a definitive law of our universe. It's just contradictory.
Okay, just one last thing. Sorry, Nathan, but just one last thing. So, first of all, for the odds that people were created, even if there was something and that was even possible, I believe the calculations came out to 0.0000003, something like that. And, okay, sure, you could say, well, if you have monkeys typing on a typewriter for forever, they could eventually type out the entire Shakespeare novel. Okay, well, that's true. But first of all, what are the chances that our ears would be the exact same adaptation for our voice? Just think about that. What if our ears heard higher than our voices can actually speak? Or what if our voices spoke higher than the decimals that our ears can hear? That's such a minute area. And what about the Earth, okay? The exact area, the tilt on its axis that gives seasons, how it goes on eclipse around, and also how there is solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. You can't just tell me that's all random chance. And even the stars. I could speak for like 2 hours on the stars themselves, on how it reflects the story of the stars actually reflect the story of Christ. Yeah, there are so many things that you cannot just say it's a coincidence.
Yeah. So I think you can keep looking about this, but yeah, no, science has not disproved Christianity. Never will happen. But Christianity is not just about that. It's mainly about faith. I'm just going to say this one more time. If you want to prove Christianity, you will have to experience it by yourself. You have to experience the Holy Spirit or in God coming into you and you seeing the love that he has for you. And then you will never want to leave that love. Therefore, being in Christianity, because that's what we believe, okay? So that's just something I want to keep in mind. If you don't, like, what are you going to lose? If you try to get a relationship with God, you can lose nothing by trying to do it and seeing if you actually, like, feel something different. Like, just try it out and see if you feel nothing. You will not feel nothing. I'll tell you that if you actually try. You cannot just sit in a room and say, well, you can. You know what? Yeah, it's fine. But just do it.
And I'll say once again, do your own research. Specifically on this science thing, I would like to say to do experiments, if you wish, as well.
Create a Big Bang. Tell me if it works.
Yeah. I got some dynamite and some rocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
mini
Earth.
another world.
You're right? Like, what's
Now I'm the god of this world.
right? And no, seriously, what happens when you explode a rock? Is it going to form, like, life? No, it's just going to fly into a million different pieces. So here's one of the fundamental things of just law, is that everything goes into chaos. You can reverse that for a little bit, but it'll always go back to chaos. Nothing goes the other way around. Chaos cannot come into order. Order goes into chaos. And you can reverse that for a little bit, but it always continues going into chaos. And here's a little analogy. Let's say you just moved into a room, okay? It's really clean. You got everything set up. Let's say 3 months into the future. You got toys everywhere, shirts laying on the floor, the cabinets are open, okay? That's chaos, okay? And you can put everything away and make it look really neat again, but it's eventually going to go back into chaos. There's no way to permanently reverse the order. So that's one of the things that the Big Bang cannot happen because, first of all, something cannot come out of nothing, and second of all, it's never been observed that order can come from chaos.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, we really got to get past this, but I just want to say one more thing about evolution. If you're saying, well, there's animals that are adapting, well, that's called adapting, not evolution. Like, you could put a human in a box and make him, make him live his whole life in a box, get married, have children they have in a box, and blah, blah, blah. They'll be shaped with a very arched back, and eventually they'll be shaped like a box. Like, that's not evolution, that's just,
adaptation from your spine.
Yeah, like now, if you
box.
see people 100 years ago, their neck is probably not as curved as you are right now. Looking down on the screen, maybe right now. Like, we're eventually, if the Lord tarries, we're gonna have necks that are pretty dang. I don't know.
It's just like an archback.
Yeah.
But the main thing is the main principle of evolution is one animal changing into another, and that's never been observed.
All right, next question. Can Jesus be true for you but not for others?
All right, we got one verse for that pretty much answers it. First of all, fact is not based on opinion. Fact is fact for everyone around us. It's not true for some people and not true for others. That's what the most politically correct people love to say. But no, fact is fact, period.
It's just opinion at that point.
Yeah. 1 plus 1 equals 2. You cannot say, oh, but I believe 1 plus 1 equals 3. Well, you're just straight up wrong.
Like
because
6
1
plus 7 is 6, 7!
Okay.
No, whoa.
Okay, my bad. Jesus answered. Oh wait.
Okay, sorry.
My bad.
But the verse is John 14:6, and this is Jesus speaking. Oh, well, it says, Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
But then you're gonna say, okay, Jacob, you're telling me that, but how do we know this is fact?
We already proved the Bible's true, and
Okay. Yeah, and if the Bible says it, we already solved the world's
Problem solved. Next question.
but you get fine, I'm gonna say what he said. We already proved the Bible is true, so everything in the Bible is true, then this is true, right? This is one of those things of faith. I don't think, no matter what, you can say, all right, Jesus is, like, scientifically or something like that, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, unless you, like, I don't know how to say this. with equations and stuff, you can't say this is a yes or no, this is true or false. This is like what I was saying, like faith, more faith. I might be wrong. This is one of those faith things. You really have to believe it to believe it. That doesn't make sense. What? But yeah, I don't know what I went into.
But yeah, in Christianity there is still faith, and you have to believe that the Bible is the inerrant word of God. That means it has not been corrupted by humans, and everything in it is true. Sure, people have tried to corrupt it, but we can see through history that has not happened. I just closed out the tab. I got a good history. Whoops. For the questions. Okay, there we go. All right.
One last thing about that one is I lost my train of thought because you closed the tab.
It's on the tab. It's also train of thought link too.
Hey, well, you deleted it from you didn't delete it from history, but fact, going off of back what they were saying, fact is fact. It's just a matter of whether you believe it is fact or not. It's still fact. Whether you believe in it or not doesn't matter. Fact is fact. But what it's saying is you need to believe that he is the truth, the way of life.
All right. So the very last question is, why do bad things happen to good people? And this is the problem of suffering. So this is a thing that a lot of people that don't believe in God love. Oh, why do tons of good people die every single day? Why do babies die in Africa every single day?
Actually, death is kind of our fault.
Wait,
because of the garden and we ate the fruit, so yeah.
But it is not God's fault. He though gave us free choice.
We deserve. Okay, wait. Let me just say we. Okay, my bad. I'm just gonna steal it from you. We deserve the worst. I need you to understand that we deserve to die and die. Just die. Okay, that's what we. That's what we deserve. God created us. We sinned, and what is the how does the Bible say it?
What is the punishment of death?
It's death. If sin is death, okay? That's what we deserve, okay? God has given us mercy. If you're alive right now, you are blessed, okay? God has given you the opportunity to live this life, and we should be living it to get more people to Christ. And that is really what we were made for, to enjoy his kingdom. But Adam and Eve sinned, and that tarried to us, and now we have to deal with that. But yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to share the gospel, and if something bad happens, then I'm not saying God said, all right, I just feel like punishing you. I mean, punishments may come, but wait.
So there's a good verse that does this, Job 13:15. The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. It is a blessing that you have breath in your lungs today, and any day that can be taken away. You should live today like you're living your last. I believe that Paul talked about that. The reason that babies die in Africa is because sin entered the world, and it's our fault. But it's by the grace of God that some of us are still alive.
We'll be able to continue living eternally in his kingdom.
And plus, if babies die in Africa, well, they're in the Lord's hands. It's not like he's going to condemn a baby to hell. No, that's not a loving God right there. I believe there's a verse that talks about it, but I just can't think of it on the top of my head. But they will be in heaven. Also, just because you're good doesn't mean you escape the wrath and death. If you are a good person but ignore God, then Jesus' blood can't cover you and your sins can't be redeemed. So being good is not the way and the truth and the life. Only Jesus is.
Now, we're not saying that if you do believe in God, it's okay to just go off and sin. He will forgive you, but the whole point is to clean yourself of sin and become righteous with God.
Yeah, and also you can safely assume that if someone I'm a new believer, I believe in Jesus, and then goes off and sins, murders, commits terrible sins, you can safely assume that he was never a Christian in the first place. You can't just say it, you gotta believe it in your heart, and God sees your heart. If you're just saying it to say it, then God will say you're never saved. Depart from me, for I never knew you.
We were just talking about Muslims, how they have to say like 2 sentences and they're a Muslim, and then you're part of you're welcome now to everything they do. And we are not a religion that believes that, okay? we just had a great talk about Islam at my church, but the thing is that we are a religion that believes that you have to mean it from your heart, and you have to get saved, and you have to accept the gift that God has given you for you to go to heaven. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but like that's as simple as I can put it.
Yeah,
but
the Bible says, declare with your heart and your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and believe it full heart, and believe it, and you will be saved.
And you gotta understand, some things that happen to people that are shocking, devastating, and like they might even say, why am I even alive if this happened? These are hard stuff that the Bible doesn't answer everything, okay? If you have some questions, doesn't answer every single thing. Like you cannot say
not every single question,
like it doesn't. There's a lot of mysteries. Like you don't know when he's gonna come. He could come right now. You could be listening to this and your clothes are just laying on the floor in the next second. But the thing is that I'm talking about the rapture, by the way.
Yeah.
But like a lot of things are not answered in the Bible. Like you can ask, oh, did Adam, like. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. Like you could ask a ton of questions. Like, was it actually 7 days 24-hour days? I think it is. Yes,
there was scientific evidence.
Yes,
to
but
the
like,
fact that, okay, sorry.
But
you
the
got me on
Bible.
a rant.
But wait. Okay, wait.
No.
But the Bible doesn't say it was 24-hour days, and he would say, yes, I do believe it was 10. But the Bible doesn't say it. Okay, we can try to figure it out. We might be wrong in the end. But yeah,
you just get really passionate.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, I went off track. The point is that God has a point of your life and a plan for your life, and if something bad happens, he will use it for his will if you let him. If you don't let him, then you will basically suffer with that the rest of your life. But if you let him work through you, you will still suffer. I mean, I can't say that. You might still suffer, but it will be for the glory of God, and he will be happy with that.
Yeah, and this was a preacher. We just came from an event. And this is one of the things he said, is that God can work you the best when you are at your most vulnerable, when you are going through troubles.
It's I like this analogy. I already said it in this podcast. But if you're in a test, the teacher does not give you the answers. He stays quiet, and with all that you've learned, you will go through that test. You might fail, you might do good, but the teacher is quiet. Like I said, you might get you might get an F, you might get an A+, but you will go through that test, and then the next one you'll know how to do a little bit more better.
Yeah, and after the test, the teacher will then teach you what you needed to know.
Yeah.
Well, that usually happens
about
before
the
the
bone?
test.
Well, he teaches you before the test, and then you take the test, and the stuff that you didn't get right, he will then reestablish.
Yeah.
We could say what Joey Silva said about breaking the bone. God will break your bone.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of that in Genesis with Jacob after he on his way back to meet with his brother Esau. Yeah, in Genesis. With his brother Esau, he encounters the angel of the Lord, or Jesus, and he wrestles with him and touches his thigh, and it pops his whole entire leg out of socket. And for the rest of Jacob's life, he has this limp that he has to live with. And the whole analogy was with that, Jesus, God, is willing to break you down and smash you apart in order to be the one to build you back up and fix you and take away whatever impurities you had, like smelting iron or
Gold.
Smelting gold or making a pot.
Yeah, he is the potter, we are the clay. And sometimes, if the pot doesn't come out right, he has to make it back into a ball and remold it. Nothing about the Christian walk is easy. You're going to have tribulations, you're going to have troubles, you're going to feel like you're going to break down. No one said it was going to be easy, but at the end, you're going to be...
It's heaven.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
You will be in heaven for eternity.
Yeah, and it will be the best thing that you've ever done. So.
Are we wrapping this up?
Eternal bliss.
The spiel. I don't want to do the spiel.
Okay, well, thanks for listening to this podcast. It is actually our 1-year anniversary episode.
A month ago. And with this episode probably coming out in like a month, you can expect it to be anywhere lower than 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Our 1-year anniversary.
We are recording this on the 26th for reference.
Yeah. Sorry.
26th of what? And they're like, oh, I'm in
The
I'm in
26th of February 2023.
No. 2025, October. Yeah, sorry again for the late episode, but yeah, 1 year going through, and we plan to continue releasing episodes. But thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, answered some of your guys' questions. I personally really enjoy answering questions like this. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, consider sharing it to a friend. If you have some questions on this episode, consider emailing a question to faithamongwolves@yahoo.com.
Or if you're in YouTube, which I highly doubt, and for some reason we still are posting on YouTube, smash that subscribe button and like and comment. I am here.
Yeah, and also, guys, just so you know, this is the first episode Andrew has missed.
That is crazy. And it's not because he couldn't. Well, it's because he's not in this state. So,
Yeah,
we
anyways.
kinda forced
Okay,
that.
well, yeah, peace.
Alright, yeah. Bye.
Peace.
I want to say something. I genuinely want to say something, but I don't know what to say. Just stop it already.